Hello everybody and welcome to this crash course on how to generate high quality professional level children's books using an AI system that is designed using the best principles of top AI labs. And I'm going to take you through what it looks like, what you're able to do with it. And this could be customized for any purpose, whether you're making videos, illustrations, comics, anything you could possibly do that involves using generative art of any kind. So this system gives you full control, it gives you continuity, repeatability, and lets you customize it however you want in an efficient way. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through an example of a book I generated based on a concept I came up with when I was a kid called Once I Was a Peanut. And you'll notice that there is stylistic continuity, consistency. The story has progression in a way that makes sense, that's logical. There's text is consistent, the style is consistent of the characters, the text, the use of white space, the composition structure. And this is all because I put everything in instructions for the agent that is generating these books to follow within the folder system so that it knows exactly what I want every single time. And if I don't like something, then the whole system remembers what I've asked so that the next time it generates exactly what I do want. And then really quick, just before I get into that, the whole overview right here of how this entire system works is shown in this flowchart right here. So you create the world, the universe, who are the characters, what is the style, anything that's important to you. Then it writes the actual story. It has these approval gates where someone must actually review what happened at this stage. That way you can prevent creating AI slop and instead do things that are high quality and that you approve of. If you run a real business generating books or creating books, you wouldn't have a writer just write the book then publish. You would, go through rigorous review processes. You as a business owner or the owner of the writing business would want to check over everything that's released before it gets published. So that's why, we want to emulate the real world with these kind of systems. And that's exactly why we have these kind of steps. Then there's all sorts of different parts here, getting into the actual illustration. And then for each page, go through different checks as well. So going back to what it generated, so you can see Once I Was a Peanut, and then I got a job. So I had to wake up early, but the bus was always late. And so I was late to the meeting, but no one was really listening anyway. So I drank too much coffee, but then I couldn't sleep, so I answered emails at 2 a.m. But then the rent was due, so I made a budget, but I ignored it. And so the bills just kept coming, and so I got a credit card. But then it was time to do my taxes, and so I just guessed. So I booked a vacation to feel better, but the flight got canceled. And so I stayed home and built some furniture. But there was one screw left over, so I just lay on the floor for a while. But then a giant hand reached down. Gulp. I guess I don't really miss being a peanut after all. So you can see it's a silly concept, but the idea here is that we can have consistent, repeatable results if we didn't like something, instead of going back and forth with Claude or ChatGPT or something and having to constantly fix different issues. And you change one thing and then suddenly a different part of the image is not what you want. Everything is retained, everything is in one place. This is how the leading AI labs structure their agent systems, using organized folder structures that contain information in very organized ways. So we're using that same approach to get the results that we want and control the outputs very closely. So that's why this is really important to follow these kinds of structures. And you can see here, this system could be tailored to however you run your business, however you like to get to the end result. Maybe you already have an established process for your business, which is a great way to use AI to replicate those kind of systems to make them more efficient. And then here is the actual project folder structure. This will be shared in the course documents as well, but you can see there's a good amount of information here. Blueprints, all sorts of different scripts, different types of books, and examples of what the character should look like, the golden example for that, the sheet with different references of how the character looks in different situations. And this all lets you maintain that sense of consistency throughout the book, so you're not generating inconsistent slop. And you can generate really long books if you wanted. This could be scaled up to create an entire universe of different novels, of different children's books. Really, the limit is just how much you're willing to spend on investing in this system. So that is a quick overview of what you can do in terms of this kind of generative art system design, and hope that was really helpful. And if you have any questions, happy to take on one-on-one calls so we can go into the details of your project and really set up things that get the results that you're looking for. So thanks so much for watching, and please let me know if I can help any